Chapter 9. Caroline and Nori continued to follow the trail. However, Caroline was growing more nervous as she examined her arms once again. Her skin still contained the shimmering effect, but she could tell that it was not as prominent as it had been before. "Do you have any idea of how close we are to finding the mermaid and your brother?" Nori asked. "I think we should be almost there," Caroline replied, paying more attention to her arms than Nori. "Then why do you sound unsure?" "Nori, the abilities I gained from the mermaid's bite are temporary, and I fear that my time is going to run out before I can return home." "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" "I guess I was so desperate to save Lucius that it did not cross my mind as much as it should have." "You know what, though? It doesn't matter. If you run out of air before you can return home, I will do everything I can to save you." "Really? You would not mind having to swim above the surface for who knows how long?" "Of course, especially because we can start that journey very soon," Nori responded, looking ahead at the trail instead of Caroline. "How can you tell?" "Because I see a mermaid right in front of me." Caroline looked ahead, her eyes widening as she noticed Lucius and the mermaid swimming toward them. "Caroline, is that really you, or have I officially gone mad?" Lucius questioned after getting a better look at Caroline. "Yes, I'm really here right now and have come to save you," Caroline replied, relieved by this revelation. "But how are you able to breathe underwater? More importantly, has the wedding happened?" "I ran away last night. How could I possibly get married while knowing that you were in danger?" "Weren't you the girl who punched me when I was visiting the surface?" the mermaid interrupted after studying Caroline's face. "You punched her?" Lucius asked his sister, shocked by the statement. "Yes, that was for biting my arm and capturing my brother," Caroline explained, completely ignoring Lucius as she stared daggers into the mermaid's eyes. "Well, first of all, judging by your presence under the sea, I wouldn't be too upset about that bite, as it most likely gave you the ability to be here. Secondly, my name is Maria, and I didn't want to capture your brother. I was forced to," the mermaid replied, unintimidated by Caroline's stare. "What do you mean you were forced to capture Lucius?" Nori chimed in, confused by the matter at hand. "My former master, Vincent, wished for me to take Lucius away," Maria said. "Wait, Vincent did this?" Caroline asked in horror. "Yes, he is trying to kill us and obtain everything that we own," Lucius confirmed. All Caroline could do after hearing the truth was remain silent, her mouth gaping. She didn't even notice the surroundings becoming darker than before. "What's going on?" Nori asked as she looked up at the prominent figure above the water. "It's a ship!" Maria realized before a net fell into the water. She and Nori quickly swam away, but Caroline and Lucius were not so lucky. "Why do I feel as though I am flying?" Caroline questioned, beginning to snap back to reality. She learned the answer once she and Lucius were on the deck of the ship. "Caroline, Lucius, I have been worried sick about you since you have been missing," Vincent cried out in joy. "Vincent? How did you get here?" Caroline asked. "As soon as I read your letter, I knew I could not simply stay home and wait for you. Jessica and I postponed the wedding and sailed out here as soon as possible, and now we can finally return and be married," Vincent replied before reaching out to Caroline to brush a lock of her hair behind her ear. Before he could, though, Caroline pushed his hand away from her. "I am calling off our engagement," she declared. "What? My darling, why though?" "Several reasons, actually. We barely know each other. I'm not ready to get married, and I do not love you the way a wife should love her husband. Then there's the fact that you told a mermaid to capture my brother, and I recently found out that you have plans to kill me." "Oh, Caroline, all this time in the seawater has done things to your mind. You will be back to your former self and ready for marriage when we are on land once again." "Vincent, stop lying to my sister. Maria told me everything," Lucius defended as he stood up and purposefully approached Vincent. "But Lucius, we have been friends for years now. Are you really going to believe the claims of a mermaid over me?" Vincent challenged. "What does the name Donald Warlegan mean to you?" "That was the name of my grandfather. I never knew him, as he died years before I was born." "His daughter was also Maria's former master. I'm assuming she was your mother." Sweat began to drip down Vincent's forehead as his eyes grew larger, giving away the truth. I know that you wished for Maria to take me away to the sea. It was part of your plan to murder Caroline after the wedding so you could get our fortune and marry Jessica without ever having to worry about money again, Lucius accused. Oh, Lucius, please know that I always respected you, Vincent replied as an awful and twisted smirk came to his face. Without another word, he pulled out his dagger and stabbed Lucius in the stomach. No! Caroline screamed as Lucius fell to his knees, both of his hands now clutching his stomach wound. She started to run to him, only for Jessica to grab her from behind. If it makes you feel better, Caroline, you are now the sole heir to your family's fortune, Jessica taunted. And I still want it, Vincent added, completely ignoring Lucius as he menacingly walked toward Caroline. However, I am willing to let you live if you agree to give it to us. And if I refuse? Caroline questioned, frantically trying to break free from Jessica's grasp. You will not live to see another sunrise. What makes you think I would simply remain silent about this afterward? How many people would believe your story? Someone being captured by a mermaid and gaining the ability to breathe underwater sounds like a pretty ridiculous claim to anyone else. You will, at best, be ignored, and at worst, sent away to be cured of hysteria. No, Vincent! Please leave her out of this, Lucius begged while he continued to bleed out on the deck and lose his strength. As her breaths became quicker, Caroline looked down at the sea and decided what choice had the slightest chance for a happy ending. You want our fortune? Well then, you are going to have to catch me first, she taunted back as she freed herself and jumped back into the sea again.